Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rebirth Summit. I wish we were in a personal room here. I would love to hear some applause, but I know it's ringing out and it's ringing true. My name is Christopher Fains, and I'm going to be interviewing a great friend of mine, Carissa Reddrick. Really looking forward to introducing her. A little bit about myself real quick. I am a resident physician and a financial consultant with the Double Prism and Tap Lifestyle. You're going to see a lot of synergies here between myself and Carissa, and I'm very, very excited to mend that here. Went to chiropractic college for a little bit, so I have a nice healthcare background, and now we're moving into the financial industry just to kind of bring that common goal where, ultimately the root cause of all problems is what? It's fear, right? And the only thing you can be afraid of is things that you don't quite understand. And so here we're going to see Carissa Reddrick. Now, this woman is a powerhouse, okay? And we're talking financial education with 12 and plus years in the banking industry. She actually is a founder, so she helped launch BB&T, if we remember that before Truist, the merger with SunTrust, right? Virtual banking centers. So she is a expert when it comes to taking the personal and bringing it to the technological. She's helping countless individuals. Now, the key here is low-income families. Okay, we're seeing a lot of that going around right now, and they need help more than anybody else. And she's able to break barriers, taking first-time homeowners, right? Taking them and bringing financial literacy, keyword literacy, okay? Bringing this to home buying seminars, actually going out in the community and being that beacon of hope and being that beacon of education, which is very rare to find nowadays. So she's a resilient mother, and she's an overcomer of both inflammation of the eye and blindness. So one of the most important senses, right? It's almost like if that starts to go, other senses are going to have to kick in, and it might be a lot for someone to take on. But she took that, and she was resilient, and she's here today with us. Now, her journey is a testament of both faith, perseverance, and even purpose. Okay, now in her speaking career, she started out educating potential home buyers, again, going back to that first time, right? First time home buyers. In the process to get approved, different avenues for down payment assistance. One of the biggest things that people just, they're afraid of it, right? It's a big commitment to make, especially when there's a big dollar sign that's lucrative in the front of a big number, a lot of zeros. Now, she's very passionate, and you're going to hear this about helping others believe in their potential to build a secure financial future. And she's also passionate about growth in many more ways. And I can't wait to see what those ways are. Carissa, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, my dear. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Good, good. So I'm just going to take you through a couple of questions here, and we're going to rock and roll, and we're going to let everyone let you shine. All right, you ready to go?
Yes, let's go.
All right, let's do it. So question number one, we're going to start right here at the beginning, okay? Tell me about life before the whole transformation, right? So talk to me about spiritual, talk to me about mental, talk to me about emotional. Help us really feel where you were.
Sure. So, for my story, it's a little different because I'm from Boston, Massachusetts, and I started out just happy, go lucky. Everything was great. I had the best support system, which was the family members, my dad, my mother, my grandmother, just some good people around me when I was growing up. But unfortunately, around the age of 15, I ended up being diagnosed with the inflammation. And, for a young teenager, you don't really know what to think of that. So, and I've always been like a big ball of energy, fun, any of my friends or family members, that's what they would describe me as, like, oh, this girl, when she comes, we already know we're going to have fun. We're going to laugh. So when I was diagnosed with the inflammation, it was, I can't say it was really emotional because I was 15, but my eyes started getting red. And that's what got me like, okay, what's going on? In my mind, it's going to go away quickly. I've seen this happen to other people. They go to the doctor, they give them something, it's gone. But for me, it ended up lasting quite a while. And that's when, I had my father and my mother, they were very supportive of me. They stayed with me. The hospital, whenever I went to the hospital, the doctors, it was like 3 or 4 hours at a time. So to be honest with you, at first it really didn't hit me as a 15-year-old. I just kept going at that time. It really hit me in my 20s because I started having to get surgeries. And that's when, I had to do more praying. People were dying as far as my support system. My father died, my uncle died. It just got a little bit rougher for me at that point because the people that started with me and were just supporting me, like, no, just keep going. It's nothing. They weren't there. So I would just say that's when I started getting more, just praying more and just being more into my faith.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great point. See, it's that central element of trust, right? When you're young and you're 15, you need a lot of people and you have that support system. Then you start to
Right.
see there's some discrepancies in your own health, right? In your own self, your own sense of truth. And then those support systems start to drop off and you don't really know where to put that energy and trust. And so you're really having to look inside and kind of reconnect with your faith and see where that truth lies. That's a great point. That brings us to our next
Exactly.
question here, and it's a perfect segue. So tell me here, what was your turning point, right? What was the major moment or situation that forced change? I know you were kind of mentioning this, but tell us what happened.
Yeah, so the major point that forced change again was this: so many people passed away. And then I had moved from Boston, Massachusetts, which is my hometown, to North Carolina. The biggest thing was just getting more into being free. It because when you go through something, when if I had 20/20 vision, and then obviously as I was going to the hospital getting these different treatments and things after the diagnosis of inflammation, things started changing, and that's when the transformation kind of happened for me, because I'm like, okay, there's nothing I can do to stop this. So that's when I gave my yes to God. To be honest with you, I started going blind in that one eye. And the only other thing I could do, I just kept hearing God say, let me use you. And that's when when I gave that yes to God, is when everything changed, because it was like, now I'm a vessel to talk to people. I'm relatable now. I'm not just, I'm not perfect. I'm imperfectly perfect. I go through things too. So I would say that's when my transformation happened. And I just started doing more praying, making sure that I was connected with God, making sure that I talked to God in regards to what's happening in my life at that time, at all times.
Great point again there, Carissa. It's like, when you're going through your childhood, you're projecting life just based on the five senses that you have, right? And then as you're
Right.
now making this transition, actually physically moving yourself from your hometown of Boston, Massachusetts to a whole new state in North Carolina. It's not like it's hop, skip, and a jump away, right? You're now having to take that physical sense of sight away. And now you're forced to not see the physical, but look inside and see within yourself. And with that whole thing comes a brand new projection of life outwards to other people. You are resonating with other people in a
Absolutely.
different way, and you're able to become more relatable because you know yourself. You're saying yes to God and you're seeing that higher self. That's fantastic. I love it. I love it. Now, our
Absolutely.
third question here, what did it feel like, that transformation, Carissa? Take us into that again, that internal process, the fears, the breakthroughs, the healing, the decisions, and of course the steps forward.
The transformation was not easy. It's almost like going through fire and coming out clean, to be honest with you. It's like I walked through fire. You have to go through finally wanting to even talk about what you went through. It's like reintroducing yourself, but it was painful because you it was like, why me to why not me? You go through that. Well, I went through that of, why is this happening to me? I'm looking around, nobody else in my mind, nobody's going through anything. Obviously, that's not true. In life, everybody has something, but everybody deals with it differently. But I would just say that that's exactly what it was. It was painful, but from pain came purpose. It just was like, well, and I think another big interesting fact about me is that while I was going through it, I've always been able to uplift other people and help them. And so that made it very interesting. Like, okay, she's going through all of this. She's at the doctor, once every 3 months for 5 hours. She's taking these different eye drops and, trying to figure this out, but she's also helping people. So I would just say, yeah, the biggest transformation hit when I got to the fact of, why not me? This is purposeful.
That's great. And see, that's that central tenet right there. And it's all in all of our backgrounds. Unleash your purpose. And I love what you said there about through pain came purpose, right? Through struggle and strife, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. And that
Exactly.
change of perception from now seeing yourself in relation to other people, right? You're looking externally. Oh, well, I'm going through this and no one else seems to be in the same level as me. But it took that pain to then actually look at yourself and say, wow, there is a purpose here. This pain is not just some external happening to me, but it's really just an internal resonance that I haven't really found quite yet or really resolved with. And so through that came that purpose and that relatability now that you're able to project and express onto other people. It's a
Right.
beautiful thing there. It's that true essence of rebirth, right?
Right.
So now number 4 here, who or what supported your journey? You were touching on this a little bit. Now, what people, faith, tools, practices helped carry you through this pain that ultimately brought you this purpose?
Yeah, so I've always been very big on God. I was raised in a family that were churchgoers, big on faith. I would say definitely the start of it was just the support of my family, my mother, my father, just close-knit people. But when my father died, it's funny because my father dying made me pray more as well, but that brought me to my father, God. So I just stayed very, very connected with God. Pray all day, just my faith. I kept my faith very strong. And when it came to just spirituality and staying in tune with God on allowing Him to guide my steps.
Absolutely. It's keeping that resonance and keeping that perception even through the different steps, right? You have your physical father there, but also that physicality will eventually cease, right? And then when that happens,
Absolutely.
it's like, okay, well, you have a choice. You can walk a path. One is I completely resent everything, and now I look at myself as a victim. Or number 2 is I keep that faith, I keep that essence of father and really understand the true purpose behind the word and the true definition of that. And that comes from the internal once that physical external person is no longer there, and that helps you propel. That's fantastic. I love that.
Absolutely.
Question number 6 here. How are you using your experiences right now to help others? So talking business, mission, work that you're doing today because of all of this that you've been through.
I would say in many ways. Well, first of all, just being open about it is the first way to help and inspire and to free other people that might feel a way about something that they can't control that's happening to them, especially for my generation, because we are so big on perfection and there's no such thing as being perfect, and also changing and growing in different ways. We can't always say how we're going to change, but you're going to have to be used by God as a vessel at some point to show people, like, okay, I'm in my 30s, which is a great time to be alive. But at some point, we're going to be 40 and 50 and 60, and more changes come with that. So it's just good to show people that you can change and still be you. Nothing's changed. Just like I heard someone else say, as long as your spirit is whole, you're whole. That is absolutely true, because that's exactly where my faith brought me to. But I will also say I am, in the market for currently writing a book. And I am the owner of nonprofit, Your Truth is Powerful. Because I do believe that the more people get out and tell their stories, just share, it inspires, so that's where I'm at right now. I'm currently working on my book, and I am working with my own nonprofit to kind of reach out to like schools, anywhere where I can speak at, to just tell my story, to make somebody feel more comfortable to tell, either not only tell their story, but no, you're not the only one that has gone through something that you can't control.
Course, being relatable, right? It's that whole concept of
Exactly.
empathy. It's, how can I take my experience and then also transmit that, be a vessel? And I love that word that you're using here, vessel, right? How can I be of assistance or be that vehicle through which people can actually resonate with the frequencies that I have? My
Exactly.
experience gives me a frequency, it gives me a resonance, it gives me life, it gives me purpose. And from
Right.
that purpose came pain, yes, came strife and trials and tribulations. But ultimately, it's like, how can I then take this and not just be one thing, but write a book, or go out into the community and have seminars, go on podcasts like this and speak your voice, right? Have all
Right.
these different ways for people to consume not just the physical, but really understand the words that you're saying and the pain and all of the accomplishments that has brought you, in taking that vessel in Carissa Reddrick and all of the offshoots that you bring to the table, and being that for somebody else. And that's the beauty of that. And I absolutely love what you're doing. I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
Now, let me ask you this. What message here, and I'm really feeling a good power here on this question. What message do you have for someone still currently stuck or in pain?
That's a great question. My message would be keep going. a lot of people get stuck because they stop to feel like something is different. And in all honesty, nothing is, everybody's gonna go. I know I've said this already, but everybody's gonna go through something. God wouldn't ever give you anything that you couldn't handle. And I am a true testament to that. So I would just say keep going. Nothing is this, there's no ceiling. Even if you're going through, like I know people that have been shot, they're in a wheelchair. Me, I changed. I've blindness now. Just all type of things. Just keep going. You never know where you're gonna end at. You never know where you're gonna
Absolutely.
end up at. Keep going. Your dreams matter. Your goals are still obtainable. Just keep going. Don't make that your life.
Keep going. That's all we can do, right? You were mentioning that just from your past question, right? You're in your 30s now, and you're a big voice for your generation. But just like you said, you're going to eventually be 40 and 50 and 60, and not only you, but everybody else, right? And
Right.
it's understanding that life is not something that's stagnant. It's something that's constantly in flux. There's always a fluctuation going on. And just like an airplane is a vessel for passengers to get from point A to point B through the medium of the sky, you are your own vessel to basically bring yourself from point A, which is birth, to point B, which is death. And the medium is life. And that's going to flow with age. It's going to flow with all kinds of external and internal pressures. But how can we utilize our own understanding of God and of unity, and also take our peers who might be older, younger, or the same age as us, and use their experiences and resonate with them to where we can embrace this flux, embrace this change, and get past stagnation. That's fantastic. That's
Right.
fantastic. Now, here's another one for you. If someone's listening, right, who's where you used to be. So let's say we took Carissa Reddrick and we cloned her. Okay. Could you imagine having two of you?
I would love that.
You love it? Oh, that's fantastic. Let's do it. So let's say we have a second one right here. Okay. What would you tell? What would you tell her?
I would tell her that. So you mean if I were talking to my clone?
If so, yeah. So if someone was listening who's where you used to be, and
Okay.
and what would you want to tell them?
I would tell them that they are going to be just fine. Things happen. It is what it is. It's life. God, but to keep God at the forefront. With God, all things are possible. Before you go to people, go to God. Even when it comes to a doctor giving you a diagnose. That's one thing that I learned. God first, just keep on praying on it, keep your faith alive, and just again, keep going. You're gonna be great. You get everything. One day you're getting a diagnose, and the next day you're smiling because you got through everything you thought that you couldn't. So it's always important to keep going and see God's promises.
Keep going. Keep going. Now, you have children. You're a mother, and you're mentioning how a lot of this was impacting you or starting when you were around 15, so you're still young, right?
Right.
Being a mother now and raising children, right, with your experience, how do you find that communicating with them on a day-to-day basis when you're seeing their struggles and stripes here in 2025? How do you feel that you can do that in an effective way? What would you say to parents who have children who have pain, who may still be stuck? What's the best way that you can communicate with your children through everything that you've done?
Yeah, that's a great question because actually I do deal with that. Not only have I had my own situation and got through it, but my son actually had his own situation that we had to get through. And the biggest thing that I'm so big on making sure that, and this is what I would tell parents, make sure that your kids don't feel stuck. Whether it's okay, they're having seizures or, whatever comes up, autism, just make sure that your children know that they too can reach for the stars. There's no ceiling for your kids either. Keep going. You don't have a disability or anything like that because the words that you use with on yourself, the tongue is powerful. It's the most powerful. So what you call on yourself and your children is what is going to be. So just keep on speaking life and love and light into yourself and your children, no matter what's going on or what it looks like.
Tongue is powerful and words speak truth. Words speak truth. You're on a roll right now, Carissa, and I really want to bring this point home here. Can you give us a physical example of something that your child might have been going through, or a child that you know has been going through, and using that powerful tongue and using the words through that knowledge to bring that from problem to solution? What was that transformation like for them?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, my son, from out of nowhere, he was born completely healthy and he started having seizures around 7 years old. And I had a lot of people around me tell me, "Oh, well," they just kind of made it a panic. Oh, and that's okay. It's normal in society for that is a certain type of person, a panic. But I'm not like that. So for me, I'm like, okay, well, let's just see what's going on and we're gonna pray on it, pray over him. He's fine. Like I said, your words are everything. He's doing great. This is just a phase. Something might have happened. He's wonderful. He's amazing. He's great. Now today, my son is 13, and he might have one, but it's once in a blue moon, and it's not really. He really doesn't. So, to me, I feel like just what you think and what you put out is normally what it's going to be.
Absolutely, absolutely. I was speaking with a pediatric anesthesiology nurse, and she was mentioning how usually the when the children come in with an affliction, it's usually the parents that are panicking and going crazy. And building that trust ultimately starts with mitigating the parents, so where it's the kids saying, "No, I'm okay, it's fine," because they feed off that energy, right?
Right.
Um, and so it's really just an alignment of the two prisms of life, the physical and the mental, and bringing those two things together. This way, when your light projects through it, you're experiencing that at 100%. You're seeing the world in opportunity as opposed to fear. And people resonate with that, especially children cut from your own cloth. And that's a beautiful
Absolutely.
example of how we can take words, mesh the physical with the mental, and bring that resonance to that whole, and really bring that peace to others from within.
Yes, and if I can just say one other thing,
Please.
I notice it's so important with yourself, your children, whoever that you love and support or that you can help. A lot of people think that your problems end up being triggers. It's so important to make sure that people know it's normal to go through things. And that's what I do with my son. Even if anything comes up, I make sure he knows it's normal and to own it so that it doesn't become a trigger to you for others to use against you. But, it's good. It's important to own what you go through because it's okay. It's life.
Absolutely. Oh, it is life. Own it. Make sure that that's a peg. Like, you experience something physical. It brings a peg of, oh, this might be a fear later if it happens again. But no,
Right.
owning that, not running away and circumnavigating it, but owning it, going through it and keeping that peg like, I've done this before. It's like a math problem, right? 2 plus 2, you might not have known the answer at one point, but now it's like it's not a fear anymore.
Right.
And so taking these big life experiences, no matter how big or how small, owning it, making it a peg in your memory so you can continue to move forward. It's a beautiful point
Absolutely.
there. We're moving here towards the end of our time here. Carissa, is there anything that you would like to close us with?
The only thing I would like to say is God first. If whatever you're going through in life, whatever, um, please God first, because God has really brought me through, like we talked about, this is Rebirth TV. I feel renewed. I feel, just renewed, from everything that I've seen and gone through, the surgeries, just all of that, the trauma from having a surgery, just God first.
God first.
It's beautiful.
Truly is. It truly is. Well, Carissa Reddrick, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Rebirth Summit Speak. Three things we're going to close here with. This is coming from her. Ready? Number one, be a vessel. Be a vessel. Number two, okay? Number two, keep going. Number three, God first. Be a vessel,
You
keep
know,
going, and God first. Carissa Reddrick, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your
thank
wisdom
you.
and all that you bring to the table. We're looking forward to much more coming up soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Um, please God first, because God has really brought me through, like we talked about, this is Rebirth TV. I feel renewed. I feel, just renewed, from everything that I've seen and gone through, the surgeries, just all of that, the trauma from having a surgery, just God first.
God
It's
first.
beautiful.
Truly is. It truly is. Well, Carissa Reddrick, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Rebirth Summit Speak. 3 things that we're going to close here with. This is coming from her. Ready? Number 1, be a vessel. Be a vessel. Number 2, okay? Number 2, keep going. Number 3, God first. Be a vessel, keep going, and God first. Carissa Reddrick, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your wisdom and all that you bring to the table. We're looking forward to much more coming up soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.